Okay, welcome back. In this segment we are going to do CSS styling for our landing page. So in our previous segment we were discussing about how to create a landing page, and we saw how we can be able to do that, and this is what has been generated, and therefore we said whatever has been generated is not appealing at all. Therefore there is need for us to incorporate CSS so that it can be able to look more good. Now, how do you incorporate CSS? It is quite simple. Now, the first thing that we need to do, that we are going to incorporate what we call an external file. We are going to create what we call an external file. But before we do that, we need to make sure that we create a folder called CSS in our root directory. Now, what I'm going to do first in this case, I'm just going to create those two files. So I'm going to create the first file. So I'm going to click on File and then New. And here I'm going to type the first file to be main.css. So that's our main file, main CSS. And then it will ask me where I'm supposed to store. Now I want to store it here. Now in case I store it just here, it will just need me to have a dot and then a slash, because it's going to use what we call the current directory. But in this case I want to be specific to place all the CSS file in one folder. So I just click on new folder. I click on new folder and I just write there CSS. Then I double click this folder and then I just create the file. So this file is going to be created inside that particular file, that particular folder I've just created. Now I'm going to create the second one. I'm also going to create the second one, okay? But before maybe I create the second one, let me work first with the first one, and then I'll be able to incorporate the second one. Now, how do I connect my main CSS with index.php? So there's what we call external link. So I need to create an external link in the head section. So here in the head section, I need to create an external link that will enable me to communicate, or to be able to communicate with my CSS file. Okay, so I just need to write here link rel is equal to opening double quotation style sheet. Okay, then type text dot stroke CSS, close that, and then you just say href, and then you give us the source. You give us the source to be CSS stroke main.css. So that is the file name that we are just using in this case, and then you close that. Angle. Now this is just how you can be able to have your external file, CSS file, connected with your main index.php. Now once you have done that, it means that it has incorporated that. So I save this and then I go back to my CSS file. Now I just want now to style each and every part that we want to style, to make sure that everything stands out in this case. Now the first thing that I want to style is the body. So I want to style my body, so I'm just going to write body, and then I just say that this body, I want it to have a background color. I want it to have a background color of and then I can enter the hex code EEE. So that is the background color that I want to use in my body. So that's the only styling I want to apply on my body section. And then hash container. Now we are going to our div container. So this is our div container name. So when you are using ID, we use hash. When you are using class, you use a dot. So that's why we are using hash here. So we are saying hash container, opening curly bracket, and then we just write there the width. We want to use the width of 900 pixels. Want to use the width of 900 pixels. We have got the margin. We want margin left. We want to use auto. So margin we want to use auto. Then we have margin right. Margin right we want to use auto also. Margin right we want to use auto. Then we have got hash header. So we are going to the second div. So we have the second div here. So we have this second div called header. So that is what we are going to style in this case. So we are going to say that in this header we want to set the color for the text to be hash 2a CA, I mean CA0H9. Okay. Then text alignment. Text align. Can you align the text to be center? Okay. And then also make sure that the font size is 2EM. So I have a video on this space whereby it explains the difference between the EM and the root EM. So there's a difference between that, and in this case we are saying we are going to use 2EM. Okay, so if you want to know more of the difference between EM and root EM, then you can be able to go to the description section, check that video, and then you'll be conversant with what is happening in that particular space. Okay, now after doing that, we go to the next thing, and this particular space we are going now to deal with the link. We're going to deal with the link. Now link requires you to understand what we call the pseudo selectors. So we are going to apply the pseudo selectors in this case. So we are going to have a link called A, and then this is a link as a link. Okay, and then we are also going to style together with A that link when visited. So what happened when you visited, when that particular link has been visited? So we open that, and then we just want to do ground color, background color. We want to use this color here. So we just want to use this color here. So that is settled. We go to the next one, color here we want to use white. So I think the color, that is the color for the text. And then we have padding. Padding is supposed to be 5 pixels by 12 pixels. And then we also need text align. Text align, how the text you want it to be aligned, we want to use 5 pixels by, we want to use center, center. Okay, so we want to use center align. And then we have text decoration. In text decoration we want to say none, don't want any text decoration in this anchor link. And then we want to display, we want it to be inline block. So we want it to be inline block. So there are some features like we have got inline block, we have got inline, yeah. So there are many types of display, and therefore we covered this particular space in the styling, CSS styling, in a tutorial that we just created in this YouTube channel. So if you need to know how to differentiate between these types of display, you can go to the YouTube channel and just check how this is done. Okay, now the next thing to do, we just want to have the hover. So in case somebody hovers over that link, or somebody, and when or alternatively when that link is active, so the following styling are going to take place in case the link has been hovered on or the link is active. So the background color for that link should change to, that color, that is AFD CB1. Yeah, so that is the color that we want that link to change into when it is hovered or it's active. After that, we want to add the styling for btn add. So remember we had created we had given a name for this link, this div called btn add. Okay, so this is the link we are going to style, and I mean this is the div that we are going to style. So we are going to say that in this we are going to say padding is 5 pixels, 0 pixels. Okay, then the text align, make sure the text is aligned right, text aligned right. Okay, and then we are going now to make sure that everything that you have just put here is running correctly. So I'll save this, and then I'll try to refresh my page, check if everything you have just captured has been implemented. Perfect. You can see how our styling is now working correctly. We have been able to do all the adjustments that is supposed to be done, and therefore my container is now looking perfectly well. Now we cannot be able to work with that container because we want this part to be displayed in a table form. So there is need for us also to style the table. Okay, so we are going to create the second file, a CSS file called table styling. So I'm going to file and then new, and in this case I'm going to say index, we are going to say table styling, table underscore styling, table underscore styling dot css. So that's the file I want to create, and then it is going to be created inside the CSS folder, and then I just create. Now the same way we connected the main CSS is the same way we are going to connect the table style, table styling dot css. So what I need to do, I will just copy this link, this one, copy, and then I paste it down here. So whatever is going to change is just the name here. It's supposed to be table styling underscore styling dot css. So that's the name that is going to be given for this pattern. So after doing that, we just go back to our table styling, and then we can be able to style our table. Now our table, we want the first thing to happen is the table itself. We want to style the table itself, and the table we are going to give it the border. We're going to give it the border, border collapse. Yeah, border collapse. So we're giving it a border collapse to be collapse. Yeah, so that is what we want to give it first. Border collapse, I want this to be collapsed, and then we want to give it a width of 100%. Want to give it a width of 100%. Good. Then we also want now to style the second part. We want to style the th and td together. So th and td, we want them to have the same features, so we're going to give it the text align to be left. Text align, we want it to be left, and then we also want to make sure that the padding is 8 pixels. So when I say 8 pixels alone like this, when I just say 8 pixels alone like this, it means that the left padding is 8, the right padding is 8, the top padding is 8, and then the bottom padding is also 8. So this is going to cut all round. But in case I want to say 8 by 8, 8 pixels by 8 pixels, so this means that top bottom is going to be 8 8, and then left right is also going to be 8 8. Okay, so in case you missed also this in our styling, in our CSS tutorial, kindly go to my YouTube channel. There is the whole tutorial on how to use CSS. Yeah, good. Now the next thing to do is just to add the table styling. I mean we need just to make sure we deal with the tr, the table row, and in this case we are so concerned with the nth child. We're going to be concerned with the nth child, and with which nth child you are interested with. We are interested with the nth child even. Yeah, so this nth child even, we want to give this child specific background. We want to give this child specific background, and that is white. We're going to give this child the specific background, and that is white. After doing that, we go to the next part. Okay, so there's a problem here. Yeah, so I think we need to go to the next part. In this case, we are going to say th, the table heading, the table header, and the table header we are going to give the following. Background, we are going to give it h, we're going to give it 2CA. I think we had used it before, 089. So that is the color that we're going to use in that space. And then the color for the text, we want to use white, like that. Okay, so those are some of the stylings that you can be able to apply on your table to make it stand out. So if I save this and then I just refresh your page, you should be able to see your table now looks very nice and very okay. So we have seen the styling has taken place very well. We have been able to take the nth child in this case. So this is the nth child, this is a even, this is also even. So this is 1, 2, this is an even number. So this is 3, this is 4. So you can see it has been painted white. The background is white. Compared with the rest, this one is taking the background off the back of the container. Yeah. So this is how you can be able to create that. Now the next thing that we're going to do is how you can be able now to add a product. Remember, you have just been able to fetch the product from the database and how you can be able to style the whole database. But in our next tutorial, we are going to see how you are going to create a form to be able to accommodate a new product. So stay tuned. See you in my next video.